Thanks for tuning in. So I just wanted to go ahead and just talk about your guide to home ownership. I wanted to give you detailed description of everything you need to know about buying a home. And I just wanted to go through that, give you a high level view, not go into too much details. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, been a realtor since 2021. I really have a huge heart for those who desire to become homeowners, and I really want to help you all find your home for the best price possible. And so how the home buying process works, we're just going to go dive right in. So first, you want to partner with an agent, which you've already done, and that's so wonderful because the benefit you're getting is someone who is familiar with the local insights, right? I know the environment. I can kind of give you insight into which is in a seller's market, which part is in a buyer's market. And based on that, that'll kind of determine how we cultivate and create our offer, right? Not only that, but you're also getting someone who can set up showings with you all, right? So I can map out the best route, save you time and gas, and of course, show you that home. And as long as you let me know by 12 p.m. any day what homes you want to look at, I'm sure we can get in same day. And so if it's not me, I'll connect you with one of my other partners that I work with so you can get into any homes you want to look at. And so that's super important. The next thing you want to do is get pre-approved for a loan, because when you do find the home you want, right, you're going to want to have that pre-approval, because it ultimately just not only shows your buying power, but also when you find the home you like, of course you're going to be serious, but having that pre-approval that we can provide when we send over that offer will show that seller that you're not only serious about it, but you have the financial abilities to make this payment, which is what you want. And next up, the third step is finding your new home. So of course, we're going to keep on looking. The next thing you want to do, of course, we'll be making an offer and negotiating your terms. So we're going to do what's called a market analysis. And once you selected a property, I'm going to conduct a comparable market analysis. So when we find your dream home, I'm going to do what's called comps. I'm going to run the comps and kind of see what is a fair offer. This will help us determine not only the fair offer price, and we'll base that off of the recent sales and the current competition in that market, like what all is on the market. This will also let us know and give us an idea of what the appraisal will basically probably value that home at. And this is a huge benefit because you'll kind of know what the appraisal will value this home at. That'll let us know our maximum allowable offer. So when we're offering a price on this home, we're going to want to be at that price or below it, right? And if we figure out what that number is, we'll kind of know where we want to be. And if the seller's willing to negotiate or is willing to accept that price, then we know we have, right, a good opportunity here. But if they're not being flexible, then we're going to know that, well, maybe this may not be the best deal, because if we run into an issue with the appraisal later on, right, this could go one of two ways, which we'll talk about a little later. But knowing this information up front will put you in the best position. Not only that, so when we're doing an offer, typically after we've reviewed that comp analysis, knowing what our maximum allowable offer will be, right, we will also write an offer based on, right, that environment. And I'm going to present this offer to the seller so that you kind of have the best chance of getting that offer accepted. So we're not just going to submit the offer and send it via email. We're going to do that as well, but we're also going to present that offer, ensuring that you have the best possible opportunity. We're going to put your offer in the best possible light. I'm going to talk with the agent or the seller to let them know, right, the strengths and benefits of going with that offer, letting them know, right, you have an agent that you're working with. And this benefit many times will be great, because when we're having this conversation, when I'm rather having this conversation with the seller or the seller's agent, I'll find out exactly what the seller's looking for. And so we can kind of cultivate that offer to ensure we're meeting the sellers where they are and what they want. And then additionally, we enter into a negotiation period, time frame. So this is where I shine most. This is kind of, how I help you get the best bang for your buck, right? Get you the best possible price and terms. And this process can take some time. I've had negotiations take up to a week, especially if it's a buyer's market and things aren't moving that fast, right? Sometimes it takes a while for that seller to understand that this offer we're presenting to them is really a good offer and they should take it. And understanding that can be a stressful period, just bear with us during that process and we'll get you the best terms and the best price. It just may take a little time. The next step is getting your offer accepted. So once that's been accepted and you and the seller have agreed on the fair price and the terms, if there's any changes that have been made to that offer, you're going to want to sign off on those changes. And thankfully, the benefit to you is we have the convenience of being able to do this right from your smartphone. So you can using DocuSign, you can sign off on these things and initial it so that we can move forward. And you would then be under contract. And once you're under contract, you're going to enter what's known as the option period. And before that, you want to make sure you also start looking for home insurance. And I can provide you the link to Keller Covered so you can find the home insurance that works best for you and get the best rate. But also, while you're under contract, you're also going to want to hire an inspector to come out. And usually, in most cases, your option period or your inspection period will last about 7 days, right? But during that time period, you're going to want to make sure you do your due diligence and have your inspector come out to inspect the property. It'll usually take between 2 to 4 hours for an inspection to be completed. And you definitely want to be present while that inspection is occurring. During your inspection, your inspector can kind of walk through the space with you, point out some of the strengths and weaknesses of the home, and help you familiarize yourself with the overall mechanics of that home. If there are some repairs that we determine need to be done, that's something we can negotiate with the sellers as well. Typically, inspections can cost between $400 to $800, depending on what you get. You want to make sure you're getting that wood destroying insect report as well. So checking for termites or carpenter ants, making sure you get that done as well to make sure there aren't any on site. But there's no such thing as a perfect home. So when we're at the inspection, this is not the time to nitpick or look at any minor, minute, typical normal wear and tear issues, right? We're going to be looking closely at things that are safety concerns or serious issues. So if it affects the roof, foundation, if it's a electrical issue, a plumbing issue, or an HVAC issue, we're going to ask that the seller repairs one of those 5 things if that's what's affected. And if we're asking them to repair, we're really going to ask that they repair before that option period ends, so we know not only that they did it, but they did it properly and hired a professional to get it done. Additionally, after that, your next step will be to apply for your mortgage and your appraisal. You've kind of already started doing the mortgage items, but you'll be working with our in-house lender. You can work with someone like Armando or Justin, or you can have your own lender of your choice that you can utilize, but they're going to order an appraisal for you, and they're going to also complete your loan process so you can ultimately be approved. Appraisals usually cost around $400 to $500, and this is important because this appraisal is super important to the process and you being approved for your loan. So loan approval is 2-part. It's based on you as the buyer, so they're looking at, of course, your credit, your income, your employment history, and things of that nature. But there's also a matter of the home, and that home being worth whatever the loan amount being. So ensuring that the home is worth whatever the lender is lending towards it is the main key. And so, for instance, if the home appraises for $800,000, we put in an offer for $800,000, then that's perfect, right? But if we put in an offer for $800,000 and it only appraises for $750K, right? Well, there's a $50,000 spread. So we're either going to have to talk to the seller and see if we can negotiate them to drop their price down to the 750 point. So, or if they're not willing to do that, you have the option of backing out of the contract because essentially a loan wasn't approved, or you have the option to stay in the contract and you can provide that difference, right? So you would have to provide that 50K difference plus the additional funds that you plan on paying at closing, right, to get this loan closed and to ultimately get this home. And it'll just depend on how important it is for you to have this home, right? If it's the home of your dreams, if it has everything you're looking for, and that's something that happens, right, we can try to negotiate that price down, or you can put up the additional funds to account for that difference. But if the appraisal does come in low, before we even get to that, the first thing I'm going to do is reach out to the lender and the appraiser and make sure they have the most up-to-date information, right? Making sure they have an idea of kind of what the homes just sold for in that area, and making sure the comps they're using match what we use when we found our initial, right, maximum allowable offer amount that we found when we did our original market analysis, right? So that's important and it's crucial to getting this loan approved. But after that step is completed, things before we close, right? So you're going to make sure you have the funds in your funds available for closing, coordinating with a moving company, things of that nature. But in addition to that, we're also going to do a walkthrough. So we're going to schedule a property walkthrough at least 1 to 2 days before your closing date. And it's important that you do this because we want to make sure that the appliances that were there during our inspection are there. We want to make sure that if any repairs were done, they were done appropriately, that the home looks how it looked when you looked at it the first time, and it looks how you expect it to look. And if that's not the case, then we're going to want to get that resolved immediately. And that's kind of where I'll kick in, right? And that's kind of why we do that walkthrough beforehand, so you are kind of aware and you have an idea of what you're moving into, and it does look how you expect it to look. On closing day, you would have met with your lender by now, and they would have given you what's called a CD, or closing disclosure. And that is essentially just showing you all the final figures, so you know exactly how much money you would need to bring to the closing at the title company. And you'll know what your monthly payment would look like, what your interest rates are, and you'll just have a complete understanding of kind of what all you're paying for and where all those funds went during this buying process. Additionally, you would have provided them with proof of your homeowner's insurance, which you can use Keller's Covered, and I'll send you that link. And you can kind of gauge which insurance provider you want to utilize. You can also bundle it with your car insurance. A lot of times you'll get a better rate that way as well. And yeah, so on closing day, this is it. You've made it. You're cleared to close. Congratulations. You'll just need to bring your driver's license, whatever check you need, and be prepared to sign many documents. But the escrow agent will be there to just walk you through everything you're signing and answer any questions you may have as well. And here is just kind of just an overview of the financing process from beginning to end. So home loans at a glance: you get pre-approved, you apply for the mortgage, and that application process, like we talked about, they're looking at you as the buyer, your income, credit, job history, and then they're also verifying that the home's value meets whatever funds they're loaning against it. So making sure all those things match, and that's verified through the appraisal. And then your home goes through the underwriting process, where they're just verifying everything you said is true and accurate, and the home's value meets what it needs to meet. Once all those things are done, you are then cleared to close, and you can move on. And congratulations, you're on your way to being a homeowner, and you did it. You did it, and it's done. And congratulations, you will be approved for your loan and one step closer to having the keys. But here are just some of the do's and don'ts while you're under contract and while your loan is going through the approval process. You want to make sure you're not opening up any additional lines of credit, making any large purchases on credit, or co-signing on any loans for anyone, or changing your jobs or anything like that. If anything changes, you want to let your lender know as soon as possible. And also want to make sure you're letting them know what your home insurance is going to be as well. And these are just several documents that your lender will ask for you throughout the approval process. So they'll be requesting your tax returns, your pay stubs, bank statements, an address of your prior landlords, name and addresses of your previous landlords, names and addresses of your employers for the last 2 years. And then here we just have some of the common terms. So this stuff, I talk about it all the time. I know what the definitions of everything, but if there's something you're not familiar with, you can kind of look over this, of something like the HOA, homeowners association fees, homeowners insurance, home warranty, what all these things mean when you have a little time.